thou didn't consider that latter end. You didn't think about the time that we're in now, man. That time ran its course. Now it's time for you to go down and project the rise once again. Start with the elect. All right. It's time for you to be judged now. What is Lamentation 4 and 21?
Yeah. It says, but I will reprove thee and set them in order before thine eyes.
Which is happening right now. What is that? Wisdom of Solomon, the 5th chapter. Then shall I stand in great boldness in the faces of those that oppress them. Not loosely paraphrasing. You know, this is the time right now. We couldn't have did this, you know, back then when our forefathers was trying to get with integration.
Yep.
You know, this is a different time now, man. And this is all set up for the prophets to bring this truth out, man. All right, for the prophecies to go on. Right? Who would have thought? Right in Jake's, right in Esau's kingdom, right behind enemy lines.
Yep.
We're cursing you out. We're condemning you according to the scriptures and according to Yahweh Shai. What is that? Thessalonians. The Lord is consuming you with the spirit of his mouth, man. Right before he consumes you with the brightness of his return. All right? So, hey, man, all we're doing is reading you your sentence, man.
Yeah.
And you love to do it. Esau love to go to look at Jake in the courtroom all the time.
Yeah.
We get off on it. 100 years, double life. Yeah. Saying some wild ass numbers, man. Well, guess what? Hey, man, your sin is gonna be crazy. Yeah. You know, and that's all we telling you. Hey, man, get ready or not. It's gonna happen, man. It's already transpiring.
Yeah. Once you saw a bunch of so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans stop with the bullshit, and then they started throwing the book at him, he couldn't say anything.
Yeah.
Like the scriptures say, the Lord was going to give us a mouth and wisdom that no man can gainsay nor resist. Esau, when he came up, throughout the years, and I've been around a little bit, I've been able to see it throughout the years where multiple Edomite scholars come up and just get confounded. Then they go on their pages, try to sit here and refute and defend what they say, but they ain't got no scripture to back it up. And then the judgment starts coming out. And we compound the judgment because the scriptures tell you, when you speak, you're supposed to put precept upon precept, line upon line, that they may fall back and broken and be destroyed, man. That's what it does. So this is the Lord fully shaped us up, bro. We're no longer like normal man, bro. Yeah, bro.
But the Isaiah 10 verse 1, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that great grievousness which they have prescribed.
Yeah, that's the precept I was referring to earlier, and that's Esau Edom. Because it is in the power of his hands. He can make whatever, he can do what he want to do. Well, I forgot, I think it was I forgot the Rothschild name. I believe the actual father, I think Michael, I forgot his name. I believe he said it. It was a quote. Give me control of a nation's money.
Yeah. I care not
who makes the law. Because they running shit.
Yeah.
They can corrupt. They got these cops. The court system's all bought and paid for, man. They work for the elites. All right. So ultimately, they're in control, man.
Yeah.
They say what goes out. Well, when 2020 happened, that shelter in place, this, that, and third. And where do you think those decrees actually came from? And it came from on high. Everybody who you can kind of like, well, this person said it, they was nothing but a face of the name, man.
Yeah.
The Rothschilds sent that message, man. Just as they're doing today.
I was gonna say too, just to add on to what you're saying, how everybody's pretty much under the authority. They have chevrons on the side of like all the law enforcement, and the military, and those chevrons come from snakes.
Mm-hmm.
They're found on snakes.
Yeah, they got those shields showing you who their allegiance is towards.
Yeah. Even with the black sororities and fraternities.
Yep.
All that shit goes back to Esau's main houses, the Rothschilds, the DuPonts, the Gettys, all that shit, man. Like the scripture said, the earth was going to be given into the hand of the wicked, man. And everything here, every part of society that holds any importance, he has his hand in, man. Like that one movie, what is it called? It's The Magical Negro. If you watch that movie, bro, they told you every nigga that came up that had a notoriety, they were all working to appease Esau and to get niggas to chill the fuck out.
Yep.
Like they're all everything is for his benefit in this world, and it should be.
Right.
And it should be, because with ours, it's gonna be for our benefit.
Yeah. The only difference is we're not gonna hide like the Calvinists. You gonna know who your rulers is.
Yep.
You know, we ain't gonna hide behind faces and or do subtle moves and be deceptive. No, we're gonna be straightforward with a rod of iron. You know? See, we ain't gonna be a coward like Esau is, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, the kingdom's going to be ruled in righteousness.
Straight up.
It's not going to have any of this wickedness, abomination running the earth. It's going to be put into subjection.
Yeah.
I could just continue on in Obadiah. Obadiah, verse 2 again, it says, Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee. Thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground?
Yeah, that's a proud statement. You know, hey, who's going to stop me? But that's the pride of Esau, man. Forgetting where you came from. You came from the Caucasus Mountains, man. You came from nothing, literally. Right? The Lord built you up just to fulfill prophecies that Romans the 9th chapter. But that pride got to Esau's got to Esau's mind, man.
It says, Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord.
Yeah, that's right, man. Like I was saying, once you reach your peak, the only way is down, and that's exactly what's happening to Esau with his whole rulership and his power, man. He's at a precipitous decline. He can't stop the motion, man. It's like a domino effect or a snowball effect, so to speak, man. It's just picking up more momentum, and you can't do nothing about it.
It says, If these thieves came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they have not stolen till they had enough? If the grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes? How are the things of Esau searched out?
Yeah, that's right. Going back to Esau's insatiable appetite. He's never satisfied, man. He wants more and more and more. You know?
It says, How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his giftings sought up? All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee.
Yeah, it's talking about these European nations, man. Your allies. Or what you think to be your allies. Yeah, they're playing that game with you right now, but behind closed doors, just as you do behind closed doors, they're doing it against you. They plotting against you. All right? And ultimately, Yahweh Shai is going to cause them to get with the rest of your enemies to come up against this wicked-ass kingdom and destroy it.
Right. It says, They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in it.
Yeah, that's right. Esau's a damn fool, man. You know? What is that? Psalm, I think, 14:1. The fool have said that there is no Most High. When clearly there is. Esau did the searching out. But he'll paint to this society that a Big Bang and billions of years the earth was here and just all that madness. Or if there is a God, it's a damn Edomite.
Yeah.
Nothing but blatant lies. Yep.
It says, Shall I not in that day, saith the Lord, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, and understanding out of the mount of Esau? And thy mighty men, O Teman, shall be dismayed, to the end that every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter.
Yeah, that's right, man. You're not going to be able to inquire about what's going on or how can you get out of this jam that you in. You know, you refer to Isaiah the 47th chapter, man. See, Satan is going to leave you high and dry. He only lead you to that target for the Lord to catch you up in, man. That's why Esau thinks that the Lord is with him, because his plans is somewhat prosperous. But it's only going to go so far. That's Job the 20th chapter.
Yep. It says, like we were going into it earlier, you know how this man devises all these things. He has his think tanks, he has his plan, he's going to scheme for all this. But the Lord's about to destroy all that. It's all for naught, it's all vain. really to fulfill prophecy, you know, to show how this man's the devil. But nonetheless, he's going down. It says, and thy mighty men, O Teman, shall be dismayed to the end that every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever.
Yeah, that's right, man. And that shame is going out now. That's why he trying to change the narrative, how the land, how he established this land, how the Southern Kingdom got over here. He was indentured service, this, that. Bro, the history is already there. You can't cover up your wickedness and now all of a sudden it's a shameful thing. It's been shameful. Yeah. But this is your records, man. This is your history. You know? But the devil has no shame.
It says, for thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. In the day that thou stoodest on the other side, in the day that the strangers carried away captive his forces, and foreigners entered into his gates, and cast lots upon Jerusalem.
Yeah, that's right. When the Babylonians was taking us down, you helped them. Aided in catching us, man. See, what happens to being brothers, man? See, it's only we brothers when it's convenient for this devil, or when he's trying to catch you off guard. That's why the scripture said, never trust thine enemy, man. It's all a deceit to try to get one up on you, man.
Yep. It says, in the day that thou stoodest on the other side, in the day that strangers carried away captive his forces, and foreigners entered into his gates, and cast lots upon Jerusalem, even thou was as one of them. But thou shouldest not have looked on the day of thy brother, in the day that he became a stranger, neither shouldest thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction.
Yeah, that's right. You shouldn't rejoice, man. Because guess what? The table's gonna turn, man. Yep. The scriptures say time and chance happening to every man. Now we're in the season to where we're in that time and season to where you're being exposed. Yeah. You're going down. The tables are turning. Yeah. You know.
Yeah, the scriptures talk about it. What was that? I think it's Ezra or Sirach. It says, thy own sins shall be the accusers in that day. Like, and then there's another one where it talks about shameful spewing shall be on his glory. Yep. Everybody's bringing out his wickedness now, man. You let him go to a UN council meeting. They'll be like, oh yeah, we've got to get these. I mean, these are violent criminals. And there's food come out. Y'all niggas, it's killing niggas. like it's nothing, man. Everything's being brought out. And then they start going into the economic practices. Everything that Esau used to hide and try to act like he was he's absolved of the guilt of, all that's getting brought up. Queen Elizabeth died, they brought up how every piece of her fucking wardrobe, the scepter, the crown, the big ass jewel, one of the seats they would sit on, all stolen from other people. Everything, man, on their glory. Everything that brought their kingdom to excellence, or had the world look at him like, man, this guy's rich, he's known, he's established. Everybody's looking at like, oh shit, they're terrible. Like, I was able to go to Colombia with a bro, and I asked one of the people there, I was like, who do y'all prefer, white boys or Esau? Oh, no gringo blanco, no gringo blanco. They was like that. It was like, they said we'd rather have the Negro. Because it said Esau comes here, they get drugged up and kill bitches. Bro, everybody, everywhere in the world can't stand him, but he got some money, so niggas suffer.
He's a cancer.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was that scripture say? He shall be chased out of the earth.
Yeah.
You know? Hey, because, the world is going to come to the point where they're going to get tired of his ass. And that's it. When it's time for you to go down, that's it. It's over for you. You ain't going to be able to hide. You ain't going to be able to, pay your way out, buy your way out, But y'all got it.
Yep. Continue on, it says, neither shouldest thou have spoken proudly in the day of distress. Thou shouldest not have entered into the gate of my people in the day of their calamity. Yea, thou shouldest not have looked on their affliction in the day of their calamity, nor have laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamity. Neither shouldest thou have stood in the crossway to cut off those of his that did escape. Neither shouldest thou have delivered up those of his that did remain in the day of distress. For the
Yeah, pretty much you messed up, man. And it's all going to be accounted for. That's why it tells you in Job the 20th chapter. Pretty much you gonna have to come off everything, man, because everything that you have, you stole it. You raped, robbed, and murdered to obtain it, man. So you gonna have to give it all back to Jake, including yourself.
Yeah, according to the substance shall the restitution be. That's true reparation.
Yeah, when Jake claiming for his, we can have 40 acres in a mule or a couple of RNs, man. He's about to bring in a whole new system, man. And why would you want anything here? It's all tainted. It's play. We want Yahweh Shai has prepared for us, man. You can have this, Esau. All right, right along with a missile or two.
200 million.
Yeah.
It says, for the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee.
Yeah, that's right. Because not just Esau, all these heathen nations were confederate. It tells you that, what is that, Psalms the 83rd chapter, I believe? Because, we have more than just one, as the nation of Israel, we have just more than just one enemy. It's all the heathen nations. Esau is just our top enemy. But all these nations were complacent and confederate within us being taken down, man. Hey, still to the present day. The only time these nations will speak out is when Esau putting belt to ass on them. Then they want to talk when they're getting afflicted. Then they want to bring up the atrocities that happened to the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans. But what did you do about it? What did you do to help them? Nothing. You aided and abetted it right along with Esau.
Yeah, that doesn't absolve you of what you've done, because Esau tries to deflect. He said, well, there's black on black crime, Latino on Latino crime. Yeah, but does that take away from what you've done?
Exactly.
That's not going to absolve you from what you did.
That's right. That's right. Esau love to do that, man. It's not gonna help you. It's not gonna help you in this situation.
It says, for the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head. For as ye have drunk upon my holy mountain, so shall all the heathen drink continually. Yea, they shall drink, and they shall swallow down, and they shall be as though they had not been. But upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance, and there shall be holiness, and the house of Jacob shall possess their possessions.
So the Lord is going to elevate His people, starting with the elect. Once Yahweh sends back Yahweh Shai, man, and to take down Esau and his kingdom and the dominion of the rest of these heathen nations, man. A true recompense is going to be taking place upon our enemies.
Yeah, this is the true gospel.
Yep.
You know, that these heathen nations, primarily Esau, Edom, is going to go into slavery.
Yeah.
And you got this whole new doctrine coming out that Romans 13th chapter is not talking about Esau or any of these nations going into captivity. When you read it further on, it says, what? Here's the patience and faith of the saints. But this is part of the gospel. This is what's going to happen. Yep.
Well, Jake should hear this and be, shocked, should be happy, man. Knowing that your enemies are gonna go down, knowing that you got a God that's for you. You know what I'm saying? Knowing that you got to keep coming. Jake should hear this and get ecstatic. Jake hears it and thinks that this is great, this ain't right. Esau should Jake is out of it.
It says, rejoice, O holy apostles and prophets, for the Lord has avenged you on her.
That's right.
You know, when you see this place going down, that's the Lord, bringing retribution.
That's right.
Those are the beginning stages of them paying.
See, Jake be full of BS, man. Jake don't want true retribution. Jake don't want true payback. Jake just saying when he's mad, he's probably short his check and he can't find a job or some dumb shit. Or, just say like a little, just mad for a second. But Jake don't truly, when I say Jake, the rest of our people, so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, they don't truly want what the Lord is promising us, man. You don't want recompense. You don't want your enemies under your foot. You don't want to have your own autonomy.
They just can't wait. They ain't patient, man. Yeah, you got to patiently wait. For our salvation, Jake wanted now. That's why they want to get that piece of riches here. You know, they don't have that patience.
Jake wanted to see what Esau got, man, the constellation prize.
Yep. But yeah, it says in Micah 2:10, all these things are polluted. You know, so here it is, like you say, Jake wants to get it now. He wants to get it. He's like, Esau do that. That's what it's saying.
Yeah, the verbal riches before you have should be outside, man. That's what I'm at. When here, business is gonna get destroyed, man. You waste your time trying to invest in a world that's on the decline. That's getting ready to be destroyed pretty soon. You waste your time.
I'll finish this off. It says, and the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle in them and devour them.
Yeah, that's right. Ultimately, Esau, after you serve out your sentence in captivity, you will be brought together as a nation and you're going to be totally exterminated, man. All right? Can you read that last part, a little bit above that, what you saw?
Yep. It says, in the house of Esau for stubble, and they shall, I'll just start from the top again. Verse 18, and the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame.
So which Jacob represents the southern kingdom, and Joseph represents the northern kingdom, which is Israel as a whole, all 12 tribes, man.
And the house of Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining in the house of Esau, for the Lord has spoken it.
Yeah, that's right. That's gonna be a beautiful day, man. You know, to not have to deal with, see, have no vibration of either might near you. And that, what the brother brought out that precept, that's gonna be pretty much the pit that he did for people right into it. That's the plans that he had. He want to exterminate us as a nation. But guess what? The Lord is gonna have you in certain areas.
Yeah, the Lord's gonna finally do away with this cancer, like the apostle mentioned. It's a cancer. If you don't fully do away with it, what happens? It starts spreading again.
Yeah, that's why I said they chase after him as after a thief. You know, because wherever Esau is, you got thievery, lies, murder, deception. You know, anything that can go bad, it's gonna go bad. You know, and he's not gonna stop.
Nope.
He's gonna keep doing what he does. That's what the Lord said, if those days don't be shortened, there shall no flesh be left to be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. Y'all got it.
I would say that's why they call him the son of perdition. So
Yep.
the word perdition is going into destruction.
Yep.
Everything you touch, he destroys, man.
Oh, yeah.
This shit looks like this place, man. This shit looks dead. You know, the agriculture dead. The people here is fucking zombies. Right? You know, the air polluted. He got to live in society as well. He's polluting his own self, man.
Yeah.
You know, this man destroys everything that puts his hands on.
Yes, sir. This is Sirach 12:10. Never trust thine enemy. For like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him.
But it does make a
And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rusts have not been altogether wiped away.
Nice. I don't even
Sirach
I don't
12:10.
want to
Never trust thine enemy.
Never trust thine enemy. All right, and like we were reading in the book of Obadiah, that this was going into things in the past, showing you that he was our enemy. Now, how much more what's coming out today? You know, hey, we have the receipts. Esau kept the receipts, showing that what he's our number one enemy. And what does it say? Never trust thine enemy. But here it is. You got the majority of Jake ready to bend over backwards for this. Oh yeah.
They'll take a bullet for Esau, man. You know, that's our people suffer from Stockholm syndrome.
That's it.
They're in love with their oppressors. That's why it tells you in Isaiah, I believe the first chapter, is Israel a homeborn slave? You would think so, by the way our people behave themselves, man. They don't want this place to go down. They don't want Esau to go down. They want Esau to be in the kingdom with them, hand in hand. They still believe in that Martin Luther King nightmare.
Yeah.
Little so-called white, pretty much Edomites and Israelites, everybody all together. Hey, the Lord didn't set it up to be like that, man.
Especially after all the shit Esau's done.
Yeah, he broke. Hey, man, he's to blame. you know, try to blame us. So no, you broke the brotherly covenant.
Yep.
And it's a track record of you constantly screwing over Jacob. All right. That's why it says what? Never trust on it. And this is something that we have learned over and over and over again. It's something that majority of our people still can't grasp the understanding of. Pretty much they're practicing insanity, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. Esau's still gonna show up as that same devil to stab you in the back, man. No matter how many scenarios you want to run back and try to play over.
May you do good that are accustomed to doing evil. That's what you look. You can't expect the devil to do, you know, what a saint would do.
Yeah.
They're not built like that. Their whole makeup, their spirit is totally different. Remember, the Most High creates good and evil. He got good spirits, he got evil spirits. And even Jake in their lower state and the wicked shit that they do, they still the righteous, and Esau is still the wicked. So even when he does so-called good, it's always an ulterior motive that comes with it. You know?
That's right.
You got it.
That's right. I'll continue on. It says, never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Though he humble himself, which is all a deceptive mechanism, you know, he'll come up. See, Esau come up, he'll act like he means no harm, and he just, you know, fragile, and you know, this, that, and the third. And the whole time, it's the devil, man. You know? And he'll come out eventually. That devil will come out of him eventually, man. Yep. Yeah, man. Yeah, of course. He's a serpent. It says, though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. See, the scriptures will put you up on the game, man. But that's why it says that our people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, man. They don't want nothing to do with this truth, man. Where this truth benefits you, man. Especially being in this society, you're able to move with wisdom and more importantly behind hidden lines. You know? And ultimately what? Isaiah 33:6 is going to be stability of our times. The times that we're coming into. Time of Jacob. The hour of temptation. Ultimately, it says, I think in Timothy, which is able to make me wise unto salvation. It says, though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust have not been altogether wiped away. Man, iron gonna rust regardless, man. That's just the way that element, you know, pretty much goes. That's how the Lord created. Just like Esau, that's how he's created. He's the wicked, man. So that's the subject matter. Really, he's doing the job perfectly. You know? Yeah. If Esau is trying to do something righteous, something's up.
Well, yeah, you had that example of that a couple of years ago. Remember when he wanted to push equity? He wanted to target a certain group of people. All right? And exactly how he wanted these so-called Negroes back in the Native Americans with the jab. You know, they're the most effective. Here, take it. You know, it's free. But now we're seeing what that thing does. But it's the same devil, right? Like you brought out, the soul is not upright. So you can't trust this man.
It says, send him not by thee, least when he have overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. We were talking about the story of Abraham. The whole time he had an ulterior motive to take the seat of the king and to take Jake down as well. He was trying to kill two birds with one stone. But here it is, that stone killed him. It turned on him, man.
Yeah, this man's always scheming. You know, that's why we read ultimately what has to happen. He has to be fully done away with.
Yeah, that trap that he set to catch the world, that's going to be the thing that take him out.
That's right.
You don't realize that you know, that's what the scriptures say, the Lord set him up in slippery places.
Yeah.
Because those slippery places is like, yeah, you got the whole world in your hand, like the song goes, right? But when you get ready to take everything and put everything where you want it, that's where it's going to be all taken away from you. Just like that. And you got to remember, These people are not used to hard times. They're not used to hardships. They're not used to going without. You know, when the last time a Rothschild on the bread line or on the fucking unemployment line, complaining, yeah, you know, I've been working and I'm going crazy. I can't find a job. You know, I got all these degrees and I can't get a job. And when I get a job, I lose it because somebody else that's less qualified than me. Come on, man. You ain't gonna see that shit. But you don't have to worry about unemployment in the kingdom because there's gonna be continual employment for your ass. You're gonna be forever working until the last day. And after you finish your shift that day, you know, at the end of the day, you ain't going to that hole anymore. You're going to another hole. And that's gonna be, you know, and then you're gonna be burnt up.
That's right. You're gonna be fired.
And then it will be over. And then finally, the plague of the earth will be taken off the earth. You know, and the only reason why they're gonna linger that long is because they gotta pay for all the shit that they've done here. Because they're not gonna charge themselves. Scripture says, "Who's possessed a slave them and hold themselves not guilty." So that's what the Lord said. The Lord will not at all acquit the wicked, because you're not gonna charge yourself. You're not gonna, you know, you're always, no matter what you do, you're always gonna get off. But the Most High is not gonna let you off. He don't give a damn about your money.
That's right.
You know, He know where you got that money from. You know.
That's right.
Hey, Esau got work to do, man. You gotta build that kingdom. You know, even though we're gonna be in you know, that new body gonna be as God's, you know, it's out of our mind. And build a palace just like that. So that wouldn't even be satisfying for us, man. Everyone Esau to pick like that blood, sweat, and tears, man. And build us that kingdom. It's like it was, gotta be done on him, man. So we gotta receive that vindication. Not just that, double.
Old-fashioned manpower.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Want something done right, man. You know, right. Put your hands on it.
Continual employment, baby. Hard physical labor. You're gonna be working.
That's right. That's right.
That's for sure.
It says, "Set him not by thee, lest when he have overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand."
You know what that reminds me of? What's the name of that Gadai movie? Killers of the Flower Moon?
Oh, Killers of the Flower Moon. Yep.
Now you remember what they did. The dude married, you know, into the family just to, you know, kill them off to take over their land because of the oil.
Yep.
And then they give that land to them because there was nothing on there. It was supposed to be a barren land,
Yep.
and then they found out it was oil.
Oil on there.
And all of a sudden, all these motherfuckers, you know, got an interest in that land again.
It says, "Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat, and thou at the last."
And by the way, Salaki, you know that same thing that happened, you know, with that situation, with that movie, was the same year that Black Wall Street was taken out. Same year, same exact year. I think it was a few months away from each other. There was a lot that was going on at that time. Yeah.
See, that covers the north and the south.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the Lord has all these examples to show time and time again that, hey, this man's the devil, don't go to him. Now heading into that ultimate time, when he pushes that MOTV, don't go to him.
Yeah. It says, "And thou at the last remember my words and be quick therewith. Who would pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent, or any such as come nigh wild beasts?"
You get what you get.
Yeah.
You know, you fuck with the serpent and you get bit. What the dude say?
Oh yeah.
Bitch, you know I was a snake.
Yeah.
Look, no matter what you do for them, it's never enough. Once they get the up, they're gonna be. That's why I say if he come humbling and crouching. That was a mixture between crumbling and crouching and humbling. You know, if he come like that, you know, don't believe that motherfucker. It's a lie. It's a lie. He wants something from you. He's doing that because there's something that you got that he wants, or there's something that he wants you to do for him.
Yep.
But once he finishes using your ass, he gonna discard you like he does anything else.
Yep.
You know, you're nothing but you know, a thing. You know, if you go to the store, you buy a water. Once that water is done, you normally throw the bottle out.
That's right.
Or you throw that package out. That's what the people are to them. You're an asset till you're not an asset anymore. Then you become waste. You know, this waste, we got to get rid of this waste. Get it out of here. You accomplish, in the movie Geronimo, they showed you that. You know, the scout, you know, the scouts, they were helping Esau take Gad out. And when all the Gadites were taken down on reservations and all that, what happened? They put those same scouts on the same reservations. You were right to hate the white man. No shit, motherfucker. This is what we've been telling you, but you helped them. It's too late now. Same thing with the Buffalo Soldiers. You know?
That was it, man.
This is Sirach 13, and I'll start at 5. It says, if thou have anything, he will live with thee. Woo. Yeah, he will make thee bear and will not be sorry for it. If he have need of thee, he will deceive thee and smile upon thee.
Yep.
And put thee in hope. He will speak thee fair and say, what wantest thou?
Yeah, he'll kiss your ass.
Yep.
You know, blow hot steam up your ass, you know. Have you all, you know, like thinking that you the shit.
Yeah.
And then you get uppity and you start trying to bark back, and what happens? Then they take your ass out.
It says, he will shame thee by his meats until he have drawn thee dry twice or thrice. And at his last he shall laugh thee to scorn afterward. When he seeth thee, he will forsake thee and shake his head at thee.
You should have a picture of Esau next to that scripture.
You know it.
Beware that thou be not deceived and brought down in thy jollity.
Hey, the bottom line is, yeah, because he gonna whoop it up with you. You're gonna be, you know, laughing and all that. But in the back of his mind, remember, it says the word was softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. You know, and at the end, they have a plan to get rid of you. You know, here it is, you all, you know, in the you know, you see these so-called celebrities.
Yeah.
You know, they was, you know, being the gatekeepers for Esau. Now they're being thrown under the bus. Now they're being a sacrifice. Whether it's something that is done as a humiliation thing or whatever. But you still got, you know, you ain't gonna see the Rothschilds out there going through humiliation.
Just look at the whole difference between the Epstein and the Diddy trial.
Yeah.
The Diddy trial, it's all like a big a circus around it.
Yep.
Right. It went to trial fast.
Yep.
They had Epstein up in the lockup, and nobody knew where he was. And then when they did have hearings, no, you couldn't go in there.
Private.
Private hearings, secret, nothing recording.
Yep.
Same thing with Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yeah.
All of a sudden.
Well, the list is still redacted.
Yeah. Well, that's why Elon said Trump on the list. He said Trump is on the list. He probably is. Not only him, but everybody underneath him.
He was on the flight logs for the Lolita Express.
Yep.
Lolita Express.
Yeah.
And they got the FBI. You already know their hands are all in on it.
Oh, hell yeah.
So that's why they can't let that go to trial, because it would implicate federal agencies being part of the operation.
Oh, yeah.
The feds, the CIA, the Mossad, okay? All these agencies, MI6, MI5, they're all working together for those guys we're talking about.
Yeah.
Them dudes that skip the bread line. All right?
Yeah, it's too much, you know, to expose them.
Yep.
So they're not gonna so what I'm looking for, they're not gonna I guess sacrifice that, for lack of better words. You got it, bro.
Well, for instance, right, this whole Diddy trial thing, they go in the details, man.
Yeah, they follow.
I was just listening to a little bit of it.
Yep.
It's disgusting.
It's sick, bro.
It's
But that ain't even as half as disgusting with the elites.
Exactly.
And they the ones that put Diddy on.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Diddy, that's the shit going on in San Francisco this all month is worse than what Diddy doing, man.
For sure.
All right, Diddy's just having a fun time, but according to him, he's just living the Hollywood life. That's the kind of lifestyle they live.
Damn.
Freakisms.
Freak off.
That's what they call it.
Yeah.
And then all the women are acting like victims.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. But when it came to Jeffrey Epstein, this guy had motherfuckers flying to the island, heads of state, bankers, okay, scientists. He had everyone involved. Plus, the dude had way more money than Diddy ever had.
For sure.
The guy had billions, supposedly. For what? How'd he get all that? So he couldn't get attorneys, he couldn't do all that? It's all a bunch of bullshit, man.
And he got arrested and convicted.
Oh, yeah?
He's dealing with an underage girl.
Yeah, that was done in state court.
Yeah, he got probation for that.
He got
Probation where
yep.
he was still able to go and move about free. He could travel across the world, get on airplanes and stuff.
And it was the federal agencies who stepped in and said, "Nah, who went in there and told the state attorney, you ain't pursuing this case. You're gonna let this guy go." And not only that, the guy had land in Manhattan. To get land in Manhattan, man, you're 30 million deep. Back then, right? Nowadays, get land in Manhattan, or what they call that Central Park, whatever.
Central Park, yeah.
Central Park, right? That's like the most expensive real estate on earth. That dude had it. But you're telling me he just killed himself. He just offed himself. And then they got this guy, Cash Patel, on Joe Rogan. A dirty, stinking Elamite, man.
Damn.
A dirty, you could smell it on him, man. That guy, he's over there just covering for the FBI the whole time. Well, yeah, he really did kill himself. Well, before he came the head of the FBI, he was talking about, oh yeah, we're gonna go after the deep state. We're gonna go after them. Oh, when I was an FBI agent, I seen a lot of bad things. Well, now that you're in charge of it, you're protecting it.
Yeah.
All right, and that's what the whole thing about the U.S. government. It's a big club, man, and then they're just doing the will of the people who own them, the elites. Okay, the U.S. is what, trillions of dollars in debt to who?
Right.
To who? Keep reading that.
Yeah. You want to go back to the last one?
Or whatever you
It's
have.
it's a big club, and you're not a part of it.
Yeah.
I got another one. It's Sirach 11:29. It says, "Bring not every man into thine house, for the deceitful man have many trains."
That's right. That's talking about mainly so-called white man, Esau, Edom. Like you want to get, he's like the apostle speaking about the scouts.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of them scouts, they was going off beef with the other tribes. Like, I don't like that tribe anyways. Let me link up with the enemy to take these niggas down because they killed my family. They did this to me. They stole my land. We had a beef. Next thing you know, Esau Edom throws them on the same rest. Says, hey, you better get down with them because you ain't coming around us.
Yeah.
What you thought? You were going to give you a Medal of Honor?
Yeah.
Right? Give you some special dignitary position within the U.S. military? No, you're just a dirty, stinking Indian, man.
Yeah, you thought you was gonna sit with the white man?
Yeah.
At the table? Nah.
And the closest Gad ever got to the president was Sitting Bull, when he was doing the Wild West, the Buffalo Bills Wild West, right? And that was just a little circus road show they would do before television. They'd have the circus road show, and the Gad would be in it. They would perform the stagecoach robberies, the cowboys and Indians. That was pre-Hollywood. So when Hollywood came, they just made that in the movies. Yeah. That's what the American people wanted to see. But what did he do? He made sure to go to that one to get all the way to Washington, D.C. when they performed for the president. What was it? Grover Cleveland, one of the presidents?
One of them.
Yeah, and he cursed them out to his face, man. He got off the horse, ended the show, and started cursing out Esau.
Damn.
And that was the whole reason why he did it, just so he could curse out Esau. Okay? And he didn't back down from He didn't sign any treaties with the so-called white man. But what happened? He still lost everything. Okay, the so-called Seminoles, we know as the tribe of Reuben, they didn't sign no damn treaties with the so-called white man. Yet they still are catching them with pure hell. They gave them little swamp lands, man, out there in Florida. But now all of a sudden, every Jake is an American Indian nowadays, which a lot of our people are.
Yeah.
They fail to recognize that the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, we're all the same people, man. But yet they'll bring Esau in. They'll get real close to the so-called white man or other nation. But look at their other tribes as lesser men, especially the so-called black men. How they look towards Nigerians and the Jamaicans and the Haitians.
Yeah.
Those are your brothers, and vice versa. Okay, you guys are all brothers. We're all Israelites.
Yep.
Okay, same thing with all the Latin tribes, the north and the south. Y'all look down on each other, hate on each other, but y'all all the same people.
That's it.
You got the whole FBA versus the Gadite thing going on.
That's madness.
Judah trying to say he the original native of America, bugging the hell out. He don't understand that we the same people.
Well, the niggas.
So of course you're gonna have dark-skinned Gadites now.
Well, you got dark skin, light skin throughout all the tribes.
Yeah.
You go anywhere, and you go to any ghetto, you'll find the lightest or the darkest, but they're all from the same tribe. They're all from the same lineage, man.
That's it.
Okay. Same thing with Gad. Same thing with Issachar. Okay. you'll see the whole spectrum of colors. You go to that island of Puerto Rico, you'll see a guy who look like an Edomite, but then you'll see a dude who look like a straight Jacob.
Yeah.
But they're all so-called Puerto Ricans from the tribe of Ephraim. See, our people are bugged out. Their minds so cooked. Well, them FBA guys who think they're Native Americans, right? I'll give them some time. They're gonna break it down right. They're gonna say they're the Tartarians. They're gonna say, yeah, we was over here. We was over here as a Tartarian.
Oh yeah.
We built all this, man.
You've been waiting, huh?
Then the Mongoloid Indians came for the Bering Strait and it took us down with the white man.
Yeah, which that don't even make no sense.
And there's no timeline on
into the customs of Gad, they ain't got nothing to do with anything involving Asia, or Chinese people, or Japanese people, or
Wait a
them
minute.
Siberians.
I mean, they at least somewhere in America, right? They should have found at least a statue of Buddha, maybe, right? Something.
You don't see that though. When you go into it, what you do see is that Gad was keeping the customs that go back to the scriptures, the customs that was given to the Israelites. Also, when you so-called Negroes are brought over here, you linked up tough with Reuben. There's a documentary, I think I downloaded, I can't find it on YouTube no more, but they actually said it, in the documentary, the reason why the natives hooked up with the slaves because they shared customs. So if these people came from Asia, and then you so-called Negroes, supposedly you come from Africa, why do you have similar customs? You thousands of miles away from each other. You're on completely different continents, supposedly, right? You're from Africa.
Why weren't American Indians eating with chopsticks and making noodles?
What about the
Yeah, they don't have any of that garb that they have over there, man. Everything they have, when the so-called white man came, would say that's Eastern, as in Middle Eastern, as in Oriental, as in that part of the East, not that far East. Okay, they're like, these people are Eastern people. They come from the East, meaning the East of Europe, the Middle East. Okay, and like you're saying, well, for instance, we were speaking about last week the mystery of iniquity, right? Because the Romans, the time of the Romans, the Roman Empire was a not necessarily multicultural, but multi-ethnic empire.
Yeah.
You had all kinds of different nations living underneath the Roman umbrella and calling themselves Romans, living the way of the Romans, which they got from the Hellenistas, right? They got, from the Hellenization of the Greeks. They did the same thing, okay? Because the Edomites that were being Greeks, they weren't originally Greeks,
right?
Okay, they took it on and then they made it theirs. Same thing with the Romans. They came into Rome. Romulus and Remus weren't Edomites, man. Those were Japhetic people. Yeah. Okay?
But that's why they say today that the so-called white man is Japhet.
Hey, that's why they say that. Okay?
You got the Ashkenazis.
And then you got the Ashkenaz, right? Step on the Ashkenaz. And the only reason why you call them an Ashkenaz because they were in that land.
Right. From Germany.
You see, but our people's minds are so cooked because the so-called white man's indoctrination of race.
Yeah.
Okay? Back then, Gad wasn't looking at race. They didn't see race. Right? They would accept Esau in the tribe if the nigga took the customs on. He's part of the tribe now. Esau, he puts a face paint on the nigga, send him on a vision quest. Send that nigga out on a vision quest. He comes back, he's yeah, I'm a Gadite now. Like, okay, he's a Gadite. They did the same thing with Judah. Reuben did the same thing with the other Esau and Judah when they were coming into the tribes. They weren't looking at it as a colored thing. Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, he's the one that brought that in, man. Okay, and then he tried to go hardcore with that eugenics when he started getting his technology. Started measuring noses. And the only thing he got from the nose measuring was that the Ashkenaz had a huge one on him.
Schnaz.
That's all he really got from it, man. Hey, this motherfucker. Hey, man, the stats is leading to this nigga.
That's a schnockworst, the knockwurst.
He got a little extra little curvature at the end, a little curvature, a little beak on him.
He got the knockwurst with the bun on it.
But see, that's all madness, okay? Because we understand it's all a spiritual thing.
Yeah.
It's a spiritual thing.
And the funny thing is, you're gonna have Israelites that look like that.
Yeah.
And you're gonna have Edomites that look like Jake, that look like Gad, that look like Ephraim and all the different tribes. But nobody talks about that. See, that this society trains you to whatever you look like, that's what you are. You know, they have not a spiritual bone in their body to be able to discern, now this person is different. They look different, but they don't act like who they look like. They act like us. You know?
They showed you that the movie Sinners. the Edomite was seemingly Edomite. He was like, "You sure she white?"
Yeah,
She was
yeah.
talking, she had spirit.
And she was Irish.
yeah,
was Irish.
the whole time.
Yep. And a lot of them Irish and Italians, we know, as go back to Israel.
Yeah.
All right. A lot of the Southern European and that Hibernia, Britannia area,
Yeah.
a lot of Israelites there. Like that's where people went to when they left the Roman Empire, man, to escape the persecution, or converting to the Moorish Empire, converting that place like Granada, right? You look at Granada,
Yep.
and that type of architecture. Those are Israelites who made that. Okay, that took on the customs of what? Islam.
Yeah.
Right? The Israelites, yeah, they took on the customs of all these different religions over all these years, man.
Yeah.
But now is the time for them to return to their true nationality, their truth of the matter, which is the scriptures.
And then you had the Ottoman Turks that also took on the same religion of Islam.
Yep, Ottoman, and those were Edomites.
That's where you got Jake, you got Esau, and you got Ishmael that are all into that religion.
Yep, and you see the Turkish people. Well, that, for instance, right, the Byzantium was headquartered in Constantinople, modern day Istanbul, right?
Yep.
So that was the Israelite headquarters. So you still got a lot of people that may look like a straight Turk, but that guy may be an Israelite.
Oh yeah.
Same thing with the Greeks, right?
Yep. Greeks.
Right.
The Syrians.
And
You
we
got a
saw
lot of
some of that
Syrians.
Greek culture, right?
Yeah.
It's a lot of Jake culture. They wear the blue and the white, all right? The music, okay, the way the food they eat,
Yeah.
the lamb, right? Everything they do is very Jakeish.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and they even call themselves Hellen. They call themselves Hellenistas. Okay, why? Because that goes all the way back to when Israel was running the show. Okay, because our people were running the show up until the so-called Renaissance, man.
Yep.
Okay, see, that's why that whole FBI, like, yeah, we was the real Indians, which is crazy. It's literally insane. You won't find a nigga anywhere that can speak that Indian language, man. Okay, that language was passed down, and then when you break down that language, what does that language sound like?
It's Hebrew.
It's Hebrew.
Yeah.
It goes back to the Hebrew. Yet Gad, living here in the North America, they were circumcising themselves.
Yep.
Where else could you find that? You can't find that anywhere else other than in the land of Israel. Our people are doing.
It was keeping the Sabbath as well. The New Moon festival. They're separating themselves from their woman during a menstrual cycle.
Oh yeah.
Which that's a Israelite thing. These other nations don't do that. Yep. Which, the South was also doing down the west coast of Africa, separating themselves from their women on their menstrual cycle.
Yeah, you had historians that come to the Americas that traded with Gad and come to the conclusion that they are Israelites.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with the Aztecs,
Yep.
Yep.
and the different other tribes that were here.
Well, I got a book dealing with the Aztecs, Montezuma. When the Spanish came over there, they, walked in Chino's cheat line. He basically gave his people a sermon. He told them, look, don't worry about what these people gonna do. Just chill out, relax. Basically, he said at the end of the day, the Most High is gonna avenge us.
That's right. That's right. Hey, and when they came, they saw because Issachar had a lot of records. So these devils burnt all that shit.
Yep.
And the friars, they were going crazy trying to get rid of the tale or the tradition or the thing of Quetzalcoatl and Kukulkan because that's talking about the Lord.
Yep. Yep.
We got to get rid of this. So they were trying to erase that shit, eradicate it, but it didn't work.
But you know what they helped keep though? They helped keep that left-handed stuff though.
Oh yeah, of course.
Because the friars, they kept that like, oh, I ain't burning that.
Yeah.
The friars and all them Spanish, they kept all that left-handed stuff because they saw the good in their minds. Well, we could use this.
Yeah.
Because that's really what they're all about. They're not really on the right-hand side of the Heavenly Father.
Yeah, that's all witchcraft.
Yep.
Christianity is a what they call a cheap veneer for witchcraft, for Freemasonry. Pretty much the cover is Christianity, but when you go in there, it's pretty much witchcraft. That's what the Lord calls this place, the mysteries of witchcraft. That's why it says, when you go down, the sorceries, all that shit's gonna be taken down. You ain't gonna be able to keep this kingdom going, because from when you were first created, as it says in Isaiah 47, when you were first here in this place in your youth, you were going along with that witchcraft. So now try to tap back into that spirit
Yeah.
Because what you don't understand is, yeah, you had that spirit heavy back then because the Lord gave it to you, but now you're at the point where you're losing. And those demons and Satan that you're praying to, they all work for the Most High anyway.
That's right.
You know?
And the whole thing, right? Because I saw something on the internet, they're trying to say like, you know, the Hebrew Israelite identity is just part of a cycle of Jake's mind being cooked. Trying to mess us in with Africanism and Pan-Africanism and this next thing, the Black Indian thing going on.
Oh, yeah.
This thing goes way beyond what we're talking about.
Yeah.
You know, this goes before the 90s, the 80s, 60s.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, this was talked about since the beginning, man.
Oh, yeah.
Who the Israelites are. Okay, when with the film 1492 with Columbus, right, with Gerard Depardieu.
Yep.
What did he say? He said, "Oh, that's an Esdras. Those are the Israelites.
Esdras is a Jew.
Esdras is a Jew. Those are Jews.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, he said it's they're 750 leagues. You know, how could you be so sure? The friar asked him. He said, "Oh, the calculations of Tuscanally and some so and so Esdras." He said, "Esdras is a Jew."
Esdras is a Jew.
He said, "Already 5 minutes and you in the court and you already condemn yourself or something like that."
Because they were saying, because they were trying to get rid of whatever knowledge because the so-called Jew took a lot of the stuff from Jake. See, what we're reading about letting the enemy in, the so-called Jew, all right, as of today, that guy, he was hanging on to Jake.
Oh yeah.
Okay, that's why his is backwards. He believes it's the lineage of the mother, because they would go on and get with the sisters and the daughters of Jake.
But you know why they say that? Because the Herodians
started it.
Their mother was Miriam.
Yep.
You know.
And it goes all the way back to the Herodians, man. And it's clear as day in the scriptures.
I'm sorry, not Herod's wife, Miriam. His sons came out of, you know, that's why they say that. Mm-hmm. Because the father, Antipater, he married Cypros, which was a Nabatean queen, that's why they say that Esau are the Ishmaelites now.
Yep.
But the mother thing goes back to Herod's wife, which was Miriam.
Yeah, and then Antipater, he was a distant cousin of Alexander, man. Okay, of the Macedonians.
Look at that.
And we know those are the Edomites. Yep. Okay, those are the Edomites. Who you are, Esau.
Yeah. So
you hang on to that history. Hang on to that history. Okay, that you're Alexander. And what was Alexander all about? He was all about the free car.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
He wasn't worried about carrying, having seed and carrying children. To carry on his legacy. He had to split over his generals. Why? Because he was too busy freaking out.
Yep.
Okay? That's how the so-called white man operates still to this day. And that's your history. What were you doing in the Roman bathhouses, man?
Being a freak.
It was a ditty party, man.
The same thing he does today. He ain't changed. It's the same kingdom all over again. That's why he got this madness.
That's why Esau, Edom, you want to claim, oh, we're Christians. We're a Christian nation. Well, I'm a Catholic. You're the worst of the worst.
Yep.
You're a witch. You're a demon, man. You want to talk about, oh, America's this, America's that. America was founded by full-blown witches, man.
Yep.
Okay? High-level 33-degree Masons.
That's it.
All right? They would literally drink your blood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sodomites, too.
Yep, and do the cremation of care with your black ass, man. Go ahead.
I got this. This is Psalms 147 and 19. It says, he showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel.
That's right. That's why the majority of Christian people are Jakes. All right, you see all of South America, Caribbean. Okay, there's no Islamic country in the Western Hemisphere. Oh, that's because of colonialism. You know, no, it's a spirit.
Yeah.
Okay, it was easy for our people to get it because they were already used to the stories, man.
God.
They're already used to the understanding of the father and the son.
Yeah, well, this knowledge was with Jake already anyway. Esau just came over and he manipulated Jake, or he coerced Jake into taking and accepting Christianity. But they already had knowledge of Yahushua. Let's not forget that Yahushua said he had sheep that's not of this fold. He also has to teach. And he also came over here.
Right.
All right, that's where, you know, that damn demon, Joseph Smith, he gets that story from. Oh, the Lord came over. He actually did come over here. Yeah. All right, we don't got the written records of what took place when he came over here, but he came over here. There's many tribes that have accounts of when Yahushua came over here.
Yeah.
Look up Cahokia out there in the Mississippi Valley. They said it was a man that came down from the sun, which we know that sun was a chariot.
Right.
And he basically told them that you got to keep the commandments of the Heavenly Father. He told them you ain't supposed to steal, don't commit adultery, don't worship other gods.
Wow.
All right? He gave them the rundown. The same thing Yahushua did when he was out there, amongst the southern kingdom.
Yeah.
And you had individuals that follow him, and you had individuals that reject. That's the reason why you got northern kingdom brothers that follow Yahushua today, because he came over here, man.
Yeah.
All right? They heard the gospel as well. It wasn't just Judah that heard it, and then Yahushua went back to the heavens, and then now, if this is the first time the north is getting exposed to, he also came over here, man.
Yeah. Other sheep I have which are not of this fold.
That's right.
Yeah, because when as quoted earlier, the book of Esdras, when Jake, the northern kingdom, came out over here, they brought all that wisdom and knowledge. That's why you see all these ruins.
Yep.
Okay, the Mayans, when the Esau came over here, and Esau Tenochtitlan, the Mayans weren't existing anymore. Okay, those were ruins. They didn't know about those pyramids. Those pyramids were later on discovered when the British were coming around doing their little tomb raiding.
Excavation,
Yeah, the excavations. We heard stories. There's something going on over, and they started finding these things. Right? There's another ruin over there. It's the southwest over there in Arizona, New Mexico, called Chaco Canyon, and it's on the same level. Okay, of those pyramids, based upon how it's designed and the way it links up with the equinox and all this other, geometrical stuff with the astronomy and whatnot. Okay, so at one point in time there was high level civilizations living here in the Americas. Well, that was the Northern Kingdom when they first came. And what did the Lord do? He got rid of them. Okay, He broke them up. Probably much like He did with the Tower of Babel. Yeah, he destroyed it, man. He put a spirit out there to disband that, man. Okay, so Gad, Reuben, Issachar, a lot of the tribes, Asher, they had an understanding of that. It's like, hey, at one point in time, our ancestors were living like this. We don't do that no more. We don't live like that because the spirits weren't with that. Okay, but if you have the full understanding of the scriptures, you understand that was the habit of the Northern Kingdom when they first came here.
Yeah.
Because they made that promise. They made the promise that so we can hold on to the things we weren't able to hold in our land. We're going to do that over here.
And keep the commandments.
So you already know they had that knowledge, and they still went on.
And that's where they still find them different relics of them things.
Yep.
James the Deer came over here, dealing with Gad.
And he was a Jake through the spirit.
Yeah, he's Scottish.
He's
That's
a
right.
Scotsman.
Yeah. So he wrote and he said that all the similarities between Jake and the Hebrew language and all of that. Then you had Count Viscount, which he was the one that wrote, I could think, as a 7 volume books of the antiquities of Mexico. And he interacted a lot with Issachar. And he came to that same conclusion. I mean, it's reams and reams of information. That these people are Israelites. Because people always talk about the 10 lost tribes. No, they weren't lost. They were just on this side of the world.
They had to have gone somewhere.
Yeah.
And there was no sign of them in the land they left from. They were like, where did they go? They didn't go this way. They didn't go that way. Where did they really go?
Right.
Well, let's look at the scriptures.
That's it.
They had to have gone that direction.
And that devil Columbus knew that.
He knew that. He had that history. Well, the whole time, he was a so-called. So he had insider knowledge.
Yeah,
he had insider knowledge, man.
Oh yeah.
So he was going around in his cloak of maliciousness, pretending not to be because he changed his name and all that.
Yeah.
But the whole time, the knowledge was passed down unto him.
That's
like
it.
no, the Israelites went that way.
Yeah.
There's still land over there. Not only that, people been traveling back and forth.
Yeah.
Right, for thousands of years before us.
And he read that thing, it took him 1.5 years to get here. And he read about King Solomon's navy and the Sidonians every 3 years. Wait a minute.
The Phoenicians.
1.5 years and 3 years is boom,
That has to be that direction. And it has to be that long because it doesn't take that long to go this way.
Right.
And you don't want to take a ship to China, you go through the Silk Road. If you want to go go east, you're going to travel that way. Okay, you're going to talk to whoever's running that trade route. Okay, and so all this history is there, but you know what? A nigga just going to believe. He just going to believe that he was a American Indian, and then all of them are Plains Indians, right? Every fucking nigga, they got the headdress, they got the Plains Indian. Gad and Reuben, right, and Issachar, they're all dressed different. You go to the West Coast, California natives, they don't have no headdress with the eagle feathers. They didn't rock no eagle feather, man. That was a Plains Indian thing, but every nigga got the headdress. Every nigga, yeah, that was me. Nah, nigga, so you was a Plains Indian? Damn, don't say, oh, them Plains Indians, they took us down. Yeah, those are Mongoloids. But the whole time you taking on their customs. You're out your goddamn mind, man.
Yeah, niggas don't know that those feathers go back to the Assyrian Empire too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's how they dress like that out there. That Gad brought that over here with them when they came over here.
Mm-hmm.
You got a lot of Assyrians. They'll look at the customs of the so-called Native Americans, and they'll see the similarities.
Mm-hmm.
They look, kind of dressed and have certain customs the same as us. Which, if you know the scriptures, you understand why they got conquered by the Assyrian Empire.
That's it.
Yeah.
And then the scriptures say that, was it chair with the crown with the head or something like that. So the Lord said, and they would be wearing, them headdresses and all that over here.
And it's different than the ones that were wearing in South America, because they wear headdresses, but they're different feathers.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, they got different feathers. They don't got a bald eagle, man. All right, that's a North American thing. Okay, not to mention, what about when Gad was creating the Confederacy? Okay, when people hear about the word Confederacy, they automatically think about the Civil War. They don't think about the Iroquois. Okay, they don't think about those tribes, the Seneca, the Anishinaabe. Okay, all if I'm not mistaken, right? All these tribes getting together and creating their own government, and they call themselves a Confederacy. So the so-called white man got that form of government from the Gadites, man. Okay, to do what? To fight against the U.S. government, and that's what that Confederacy of the Iroquois did. Okay, they got together and they said, no, we're going to create our own government. So now we could go in and claim sovereignty against this foreign nation. Then they were able to get the French, okay, make deals with the French, make deals with the British, to give them promises of, okay, we won't encroach on this land and that land. And every Edomite, every deal they made, they broke every damn deal. But these Indians were uncivilized.
Somebody get that Psalm 55.
They were uncivilized. They were whooping and whopping, and they just were savages and killing each other. Yet the so-called white man, you got your Confederacy through the inspiration of the North American Indians, man.
But that's how they justified taking Gad and the other tribes down.
Yep.
They're savages. We got to tame them. We got to kill the Indian and save the man.
Yep. And so and then not only that, out of all the nations the so-called white man has dealt with, he never created boarding schools to break you down, man, to really destroy your knowledge of who you are. He only did that to Gad and Reuben.
Yeah.
Here in America, all right, and also in Canada, right? Then boarding schools, they found all these mass graves of the children, and then Esau tried to play it off. No, actually, they only found like 2 or 3 dead bodies, and they blew out of proportion. They created a race war. And fuck you, so-called white people, man. You niggas started the race war, and it never ended. Okay, you created this race war, and it ain't stopped. Okay, and it ain't gonna end until we got chains on you, man. All right. Did the Apostles' Precept?
This Psalm 55 and 20. He hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him.
Read that again.
Psalm 55 and 20. He hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him.
Yeah, at one point in time, what was it? It was not the Mason-Dixon. That's the other one. There was another line, the Appalachian line. I forget the name of it, but Esau said he wasn't going to cross it. If Gad helped Esau, the Americans, the colonialists fight for their independence against the British.
Trust
they
not thine enemy.
We're not going to go across this Appalachians. We're going to stay right. We're going to stay our dirty red asses over here. And all right, let's go. And they went to war with the British, and they helped them. And because the British, what were they doing? I mean, the American, they were the militias. They got that all from Gad. The way the guerrilla war.
Yeah.
The way they were fighting. All the war tactics, they got it from Gad. That's why Esau, to this day, he still puts Gad's name on all his weapons, man.
Tomahawk missile.
Tomahawk missile,
Apache
helicopter, Black Hawk helicopter.
Yeah.
All his weaponry, all his goes back to Gad, because Gad was his inspiration for his independence, man. Okay, so don't so all this madness. You want to talk down on the tribes? The tribes are the reason why you so-called white people, you goddamn devils, got this land. Because without the tribes helping your ass, you wouldn't have got this far.
Be here.
And you talk about this every Thanksgiving, you damn devils.
Sure.
All right, you literally talk about it everything. You couldn't get through a damn winter, man. But here it is. Esau would tell you, he came from the ice. That's why he's light. I wasn't in the sun. That's why I'm white skinned. I have white skin. Nigga, first of all, you red, all right? And it's not because of the sun, right? It's because you go back to Esau, Edom.
Yep.
Okay?
Your lineage.
Your lineage, and then you want to break it down. Well, Esau, if he was a white man, why he would have diluted it and he would have became black again? Nah, man. The Most High put it in your DNA, man, to make that a strong gene at one point in time. Man.
That's it.
And now your genes got weak.
Yeah.
Now it's the weakest of all genes.
But the thing is, you could still have two dark-skinned people come out with a white baby. So the Most High, you know, okay, because they say that, you know, Esau got with a Canaanite woman and an Ishmaelite woman, and then, you know, that changed the line forever, so it's impossible. But then you have two dark-skinned people that can have one dark-skinned baby and one white-looking baby, but it's not possible for the Most High to keep that color on Esau.
Right.
Come home, man.
Because the Heavenly Father, he's the one he wrote the code, all right?
That's it.
The Heavenly Father wrote the code. He's the one that made you, okay? He put it in your genetic makeup,
Yeah.
okay? And Esau's genetic makeup is the devil, all right?
That's it.
Go ahead and read that.
It's Psalm 55 and 20. He hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He hath broken his covenant.
Yeah, he had broken his covenant. You made all these treaties, you made all these deals with the tribe of Gad, with the tribe of Reuben, and you broke every last one of them, man.
Yeah.
All right, as for instance, right, because you had a lot of the Trail of Tears, okay, when the after the Civil War, the 5 civilized tribes, right, which were dealing with Esau, all right, mainly the Cherokee, they were letting Esau marry in, and then Esau brought in his slavery. He brought in that chattel slavery to the tribe, and they started saying, okay, well, let's do what the Esau, so-called white man's doing. That way, he won't kick us off our land. And so you started growing tobacco. You started growing, industrializing tobacco, industrializing your cotton fields, and you would have so-called black slaves on that land. Then later on, they became part of the tribe. Once after they were taken out of slavery, they became part of the tribe. Then what did Esau say? He said, "You got to get out of here." Then you set up a Trail of Tears, okay? And you said, "We got this land over there in Oklahoma. That's Indian territory. You got to go over there."
Hey, for you still to believe that this devil got your best interests at heart, you are out of your fucking mind.
And then on that Trail of Tears, what were you doing? The so-called white man, you were getting bandits stealing so-called black Indians, natives, okay, from the trail and putting them back in slavery, man. That was the type of shit you devils were doing, okay? To the point where did Jake have to go? They were going to Mexico, all right? And there's a lot of Jakes went down to Mexico. Why? To escape the hardcore bondage, man. To escape that slavery. And did the Mexicans fight them and say, "No, you're not welcome"? No, they accepted them, man.
Because they were, was it Reuben too? I believe they had him on the border.
Yep.
They had him on the border fighting Esau back.
Yeah, exactly. Benito Juarez linked up with the general of the Seminole, John Horst, to help them fight off the French. That's where Cinco de Mayo comes from, man.
Yep.
But see, the so-called white man won't go into that. And the reason why Issachar today celebrates Cinco de Mayo, they don't celebrate that in Mexico, is because during the Chicano movement in the 60s and 70s, the Chicanos were trying to push that black and brown vibration, that unity amongst Jake and Issachar, amongst Judah and Issachar, and that's why they were saying this is our day, when we beat the white man.
Right.
We linked up and took out the white man. Okay, that's what happened at Cinco de Mayo. They went and took down when the French tried to take that land, tried to come into Mexico and recolonize it. It was the tribes that kicked them out, man, not Edomites. Okay, and then all those records, what happened?
Gone.
Fire.
But they still celebrate that day. You know, they still celebrate Jake in that I forget what city that
Guerrero?
is. Yeah, in Mexico.
I think that part
You know,
of Mexico.
they still
Was it part of Mexico?
Just a few parts.
A few parts, yeah.
Some celebrate in September, a different independence.
Different, yeah. That's the September one.
so
there's a part of Mexico where it's a majority of really dark skinned.
yeah, and I believe they got like a plaque or something up commemorating them, if I'm not mistaken.
I know the place where the Seminoles are at, El Nacimiento.
El Nacimiento,
Yes,
that's the one.
Which is the birth.
Yeah, the birth, yeah.
Yeah.
El Nacimiento, and that was a lot of Reuben, okay, Judah, were up in that land. Issachar gave it to them. They gave him the land.
Yep.
Okay, they didn't say, no, you got to pay for it. They gave it to him.
Yeah.
Why would they do such a thing? Because they're brothers.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a tribal thing. Well, they didn't do that for the French. They did it for the so-called white man. They did it for the tribes.
Yeah.
So anytime a nigga try to get on you, oh man, you with them. They're our enemies, man. You gotta be with all people. And the nigga's stupid. He's retarded. Okay. He probably just robbed one of his own. Okay?
Damn.
He probably just robbed one of his own. Or he probably paid for an abortion of one of his own.
Damn.
All right. Yeah. So all that madness, all that BS FBA crap, man, it's getting destroyed right now with the truth. Okay?
Oh yeah.
And that's why no one wants to come and debate the Israelites. They'll debate them other guys though.
Yeah.
They'll talk to a bonehead Pegasus. What's his name?
Oh,
They'll
man.
talk to that guy.
Pegasus. Peggy Sue.
Yeah, Peggy Sue. They'll talk to that guy. They'll talk to the what's his name? Cesariak. They'll talk to that dude. All right, but you want to come up to the? They're going to try to talk to the apostle, man. Why? Because here at Great Millstone, we got the full knowledge and understanding of it. And we're going to hit you with the actual facts of the history and the scriptures.
Hey, well, vocab and then rolled up on us when we were up at morning something up in New York at that park. They rolled up, and vocab never put that video out. It was a whole year, and he put like a few little clips.
Oh yeah, done. I remember.
Yeah, he never put that. To this day he hasn't put that
Yeah,
video.
when
out.
he was sitting down,
Yeah, and then he gave Apostle the booklet, and he bowed.
He
went
bowed
like
down,
that. He went. Yeah, and we got the picture. We got the receipts of you doing that. And they did it deceitfully because Sam Shamoon rolled up, act like he was somebody else, and he started talking to us. And then another dude, a couple of guys came. Then vocab came. So they were all together, but they act like they was coming in separately.
Yeah.
And then he got it. Well, we were getting the camera together. Get the fuck out of here. You set it up that way.
Yep.
You mean to tell me you coming to ambush somebody, to debate them or whatever on the scriptures, but you got to stop. Okay, oh, there they go. Let's put the camera together. No, you're gonna have that shit already rolling.
Yeah. Well, now he don't even do that no more. Now you know where he's at. He's at the cabana.
And then Abu. He directed them there,
Yep.
and he's somewhere in that area hiding in the fucking monastery, somewhere in a dark basement with water dripping. With that fucking Greek Orthodox monk suit on.
Boo, man. He's still on Twitter talking shit too, man.
Of course, that's what he does. That's what he gets paid to do.
Yeah. Keep going on that one.
Verse 21, it says, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart.
Yeah, every deal you make with this guy, he's gonna go to war with you no matter what. That's his whole plan.
That's it.
Okay, the so-called white man, it's in his spirit to push forward this war machine. That's why America has gotten to where it's at. And that's why all these other nations like coming here, because the war machine brought your bitch ass over here, man. Okay, the war machine brought your bitch ass over here. You bombed the shit out of your country, or you made it poor, and he said, come over here for opportunity. Okay? Keep going.
It says, his words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords.
That's how they get you.
Yep.
By them word, like Esau, like the scriptures say, the devil's gonna come as an angel of light. They're not gonna come, rough and tell you that they're the devil. They're gonna come to you like they're your best friend. That they're the best thing that could ever happen to you. They sell you the sun, the moon, and the stars. But then when you look, you ain't got shit. They done took everything from you. Like that one scam artist, right?
That coyote spirit.
It was this Edomite scam artist, right? And he was getting people, so he went to this high-end place, a high-end hotel or something like that, and there was this high-class hooker there, right? So she was saying how much, he said 300. She said that's too low. He said 6. She said now we're getting somewhere. He said, you know what? Let's just make it 1,000 even, right? So then they went upstairs to the room. He said, oh, you know what? Let me go back downstairs. Let me cash this cashier check, and then I'll be right back and give you the money, right? So the cashier check, she said, well, just give it to me. He said, well, the cashier check is $1,400. So she gave him $400. He gave her the cashier check, which wasn't any good. So he made $400 out of the deal. So he scammed the shit out of her.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But that's Esau.
Well, that was one of them Ashkenaz.
Yeah.
That guy was scamming hella bitches.
Oh yeah. But that's how Esau does. He makes you seem like you're getting a good deal. But what they say, when something's too good to be true, It normally is.
Yeah.
And that Esau makes things. He makes you think that you're gonna be able to get, quick results and quick everything. Nothing good comes easy. Nothing good is quick.
Well,
You
for
know?
instance, right? He wants to do this thing with this. What's it called again? The income basic.
UBI,
Universal basic income.
Universal
UBI,
Basic Income.
Universal basic income, right? That's too good to be true, right? But just wait till when he gives it to you, because
Yeah.
it's going to be based on that C hit.
Yeah.
Okay, it's going to come with the C hit.
Yeah.
So you're going to be like, oh look, now it's instant. Look, it's good and all. No, you just took the mark.
Yeah, and then most
Finished.
people are already in a desperate mindset. Can't pay my bills. I can't eat. I can't keep a roof over my head. I gotta live in my car. So when that comes out, people are gonna be like, "What we got to lose? Your freedom,
Yeah.
your life,
Your dignity.
yeah, But that's how he's gonna sweeten the deal, so to speak.
Well,
But
Esau wants your soul. He wants that.
that's it.
Yeah,
But
he ain't telling you that's what that mark entails, though.
that's
He
it.
gonna say, like, the apostles going into, he gonna come smooth, man.
That's it.
He gonna come and paint the picture like it's the best thing that
There you go.
can possibly obtain.
Yeah.
UBI, well, that's something that a benevolent ruler would do. He sees the people down and out.
Yeah.
He's gonna help them out, man.
Yeah. He's gonna help
give
them out,
give
all right.
them a little stipend.
Yeah.
You know they need food and water. They can't work. Ain't no jobs out here, so he gonna hook you up with some free money, man.
Yeah.
Well, that's what's going on here mainly here in San Francisco, but throughout all of California, well, the whole country. Right, they give these junkies a check, and they give them free housing, and then the niggas end up just dropping dead anyways, man.
Which that was his plan anyway.
That was his plan
Yeah.
anyway. He just wanted to make money off of it.
They had the safe injection sites.
Yep.
Where you could go and get drug paraphernalia. They'll give you the needle, the rope to tie off with. They give you Narcan too, just in case your homie overdoses. You can bring them back so they can keep going. This is all state funded, man. The city was paying for it. So you could go to one of these facilities and you could get a kit, man.
Hey, I wonder if Elon Musk got rid of that with the Doge.
Or
But he didn't get rid of shit, man.
that dude was it Lurie?
Danny Lurie, yep.
He got rid of it.
Oh, yeah.
That hook nose.
Supposedly, but that shit's still going down.
Yeah.
That's the nigga you don't trust, man. All right, he's in your face. Okay, you can look at the curvature of the schnoz. All right,
Damn.
you can tell. All right.
It's got an obtuse angle, it's wrong.
Damn, I was too angled. Shit.
This is, Proverbs.
And that's the one thing. That's the one thing the eugenics people came up with, man. That made a little bit of sense. Go ahead.
Proverbs 12:10, it says, "A righteous man regardeth the life of his beast, but the tender mercies of the wicked are cruel."
Yeah.
Hey, and all you gotta look at is these factory farms, man. You see how Esau deals with making you the meats you eat.
Yeah.
Hey, it's the slaughterhouse is diabolical. Man.
Oh yeah.
It's wicked. Well, you ain't even supposed to set up nothing like that. First of all, you ain't supposed to even eat meat like that. Meat was an occasional, food that you had back in the ancient world. You had a guest or something, you would dress the lamb and kill it, cook it. But other than that, we was mainly eating nuts, fruits, vegetables, and all that, legumes.
Yeah, because this is before refrigeration.
Don't let Dr. Sebi tell you.
You
So
couldn't
don't
just
let
kill
Dr. Sebi tell you that.
kill the beast.
Can't eat that.
You couldn't kill the cattle, right? The
Slack
bigger
it.
lamb or the cow or whatnot, and just I'm gonna store the rest of it. No, they'll be eating that.
Yeah.
So that's where you have a big festival feast to eat that meat, man, to enjoy it with everyone around you, because it will spoil.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the reason why. But now modern day refrigeration, you're able to let me freeze half of this, keep this one for later, okay, or whatnot. You see, the so-called white man with all this technology, it's all just used for more wickedness and evil.
Well, hey, I'll say this. Remember when Isaac, he wanted Esau to go get venison?
Yep.
He wanted to eat some venison that night, to bless him.
Yep.
Esau had to go out and hunt it.
Yeah.
He had to go out and hunt it, and then he had to dress it
Yep.
and fix it up. That wasn't no short. That wasn't just going to the refrigerator and seasoning it up in the oven.
And not only that, venison, that's not a domesticated animal. You gotta go hunt it.
Yeah.
All right, you can't just, hey, can you give me a lamb? Okay, I'm gonna go deal with this guy, go buy it, and do it. It's easy work. Now, the spirit had it. Jacob wanted the venison. He wanted him to go out and hunt it.
Isaac.
So like Isaac wanted Esau to go out there and hunt it.
Yeah.
Of course, we know the story. You know, Jacob's mother had a little something on
Hey,
her.
she
Some
was
planet.
she was a badass cook because she made some goat taste like venison.
Yeah.
You know you bad when you can make some goat
No,
taste like venison.
she probably knew the old man's taste buds was falling off too.
Yeah.
So, maybe let me spice it up a little bit. He likes it like this.
Yep.
You know, a woman are.
Oh yeah.
Okay. More on that?
Well, we
read this
Yeah,
one.
this Isaiah 30:1. It says, "Woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with the covering, but not of my spirit."
Beautiful.
That's right, yeah, because our people, you want to take on all these different identities, man.
I like the FBA thing. That's not the spirit of Yahweh Shai. What the fuck is the foundation of Black American?
That's
man?
the most retarded shit I ever heard.
That ain't nowhere in the scriptures.
You better off calling yourself a Negroid.
Yeah.
Damn.
At
Just
least
a black.
it means something. He said he's black. What is foundational Black American?
Yeah, what the
mean,
fuck
man?
is that, man? Foundational. So you was there with George Washington? You was in there cooking it up with that nigga, man? You niggas was low, man. You was getting, that nigga would probably just sacrifice your mother right before he went and signed the Declaration of Independence, man.
Yeah.
But a nigga was foundational. You niggas didn't found shit. We built this nation. You niggas didn't found shit, man. All right, this is the white man's country. All right, as much as you niggas want to claim it as yours, this is the fucking white man's country. And even Gad will tell you that, man. Gad will be the first one to say, "Hey, man, this shit, yeah, it's my land, but it's this nigga's country right now." All right, yeah, Gad try to claim the land, but he'll know who running the show. So-called white man. All right,
Yeah.
no matter how different ways you try. We built the White House. Yeah, we did that, nigga. You ain't done. What's a nigga do recently, man? All a nigga's done recently is created the Diddy freak off, man.
Damn.
Okay, and then toast to it and call it black excellence.
Why
That's what you niggas was doing.
But hey, you building the White House is part of the curses of Yahweh Shemi Shai.
Yeah.
You shall
Yeah.
build a house and
Yep.
you shall not dwell therein.
Beautiful.
They was digging out the tunnels underneath it, man. To sacrifice more FBAs. Okay, because that's who was running through them tunnels, man. Babies, FBA babies, man. Fresh babies for them to sacrifice, man. To do sick shit with. Read that again.
Yeah, it says, "Woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord, that take counsel, but not of me."
Yeah, you don't want to take the counsel of the Heavenly Father. You want to believe in fairy tales. And then you got niggas that claim to be Israelites who support that madness.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Okay, well, no, yeah. Like, what's his name? These weirdos were on Adam 22. The gorilla and the other freak, Tazaryak. And then they talked about, hey, what about, and that weirdo, Nasheed, right? He said, what about, don't you guys believe that the Latinos and y'all the same people? Like, yeah. But they didn't want to go into it, man. They wanted to be strictly on the black shit, man. When you should have just cursed that nigga out and said, no, we're all the same people, nigga.
Yeah.
We're all the same people. We're all Israelites, so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans.
Yeah.
You can't twist this. You can't separate yourself from us, nigga. We're all the same people. 12 tribes. And then now people are attacking the 12 tribes. Yeah, the FBA people are the main guys attacking the 12 tribes. They got an issue with it.
Yeah, well, it goes back to the division that the Heavenly Father put between the Northern Kingdom and the Southern Kingdom. But you read Isaiah the 11th chapter, the Most High said He was going to do away with that. The envy of Ephraim shall depart, and Judah shall not vex Ephraim, and that begins up here. All right, that's why you see so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans coming together without any schisms, man.
Yep.
This is what Esau, Edom got a problem with. All right, he don't want so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans coming together. All right, why? Because we are the Israelites. All right.
Yeah, and that's why when Jake gets locked up or Jake is in the streets, you try to separate. You try to separate even within the tribe itself. Oh no, those are Bloods, those are Crips, those are Northerners, those are Southerners. Because if everyone was together, you already know what time it is, man.
Well, it'd be over for him.
If everyone just said, okay, let's just focus on the real issue here. Let's go step on the Ashkenaz.
Yeah.
All right, let's go full force, step on the Ashkenaz. But you're not gonna do that, man. Why? Because the Ashkenaz is over there with the leash on you, man. Okay, training you like a pit bull, like a rabid hood nigga dog, man. To only attack your own.
Yep.
Right? That's why this guy, that dude Nasheed, right? When they bring up, he was talking to Myron Gaines. He's like, hey man, why don't you talk about the Ashkenaz? Like, you want me to crash out? Like, you want me to crash out? How is that a crash out? The truth is crashing out, I guess. When the whole time, hey man, the whole spirit of the world is on that right now, man.
He don't want his bag to get
That
fucked.
bag, that's
He know who his masters are.
Yeah, he's literally that's his boss. He ain't gonna talk about his boss like
You
that.
want that money to keep coming in. You know he like making them movies.
He like them FRN, the movies nobody watches.
You can't curse out the Ashkenaz and then expect your movie to get released on at the box office, man.
Yeah.
Well, he got that museum. He got the museum on Crenshaw. The Ashkenaz, you already know he's the landlord too.
Yeah, the Ashkenaz, they own Crenshaw.
They own Crenshaw.
They own LA.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you get beside yourself, they gonna take everything you got away from you.
Well,
Man.
the Ashkenaz, they own your fucking social security number, your birth certificate. They own you.
Exactly.
All right, and they don't want you to be part of the system, and they'll take your ass out. You know.
So you can't go ahead and step on him like that.
Can't crash out.
Yeah, you want to call it a crash out. And here it is, the guy, you see that guy Dave Portnoy? That guy's getting cooked every time he talks. That's the dude that runs a bar school. Every time he opens his mouth, he's getting cooked. He's like, man, you're this anti-Semitic, you're being anti-Semitic. You need to lose, you need to go to jail. Pretty much he wants to destroy free speech because of a couple Jew jokes. So-called Jew jokes.
Right.
See, and that the people are seeing that, and they're able to understand and break that down to see, okay, there's something up with this guy, man. There's something cooking, and there's something in the air right now where there's an attack on free speech, and that's the lane they're going to. Okay? Oh, you can't speak about that. You can't even joke about it. Why? Because it's deemed this, and that's going to lead to violence.
Yeah.
But when it comes to our people, you don't give a damn. Oh shit! I can think of 5 right now. Go ahead. Hey, those are the best jokes.
It's a hit different.
Hey, Jake don't give a shit.
Yeah.
You don't hear Jake complain, man, they're making fun of me. Jake hit you right back with it.
The reason why they hit so different because those are part of the curses. You should be a proverb and a byword, right? So that goes back. It's really the Most High cracking a joke on you.
And not only that, the jokes about us isn't true. They're lies.
Yeah.
So we can laugh it off. But the jokes on you know who, hey man, that hit different. It's true. It's true. It's very true. True to lie. Yeah, like, oh, hey man, don't glue a penny to the ground. All right. And they say you can't, because that guy Portnoy said you can't even joke about it. No jokes. And every response underneath that, he's like, why did the Ashkenaz cross the street? You know, and the Jew, someone said because there was a baby just got circumcised and he had to go suck. They do that.
Represents of the pay.
They do that. Hey, and I don't know, that joke is different. Why? Because it's true. Okay? It's very true. That's part of your culture. That's what you guys do. All right? And it's just a joke. Once you get over it, oh, it's going to lead to 6 million. It's going to lead to this and that. Really, you're afraid of the Heavenly Father, man.
Yeah.
All right? Because you're under heavy scrutiny. And the main scrutiny that you're being put under right now up among us is whether or not you're a child of God, like as you claim.
Yeah, well, she ain't. The mere fact that that the ADL exists proves that they not the Israelites. The scriptures tell you, who shall bemoan thee? Right. Who shall go aside to ask how thou doest? So nobody give a fuck about what you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are going through. Who really advocates for Jake when these people make jokes about Jake, man?
Nobody.
You know, the stereotypes come up about Gad, about Issachar. Okay, the stereotypes come about so-called Negroes. Everybody laughs, man. Or when Jake is actually going through some shit, don't nobody stand up. Where are the people, you know, rising up to try to stop these ice raids from taking place? People just watching.
Yeah.
Oh, but you see what's going on over there in Gaza, and everybody want to rise up and, you know, we got to have movement, so we got to boycott this, boycott that.
Yeah, you want to camp out at school. You want to raise hell at your Ivy League school, man, for some babies in Gaza. Out your damn mind.
What about the fucking Planned Parenthood here in America?
Right.
Exactly.
You know, talking about some babies, you know, getting murdered.
And then they mad about due process. Where's the due process? What about Jake? Don't get no due process. Jake getting locked up every day.
Yeah.
Still in death row, man. No due process.
What about those dudes that got caught up in immigration, the ICE, you know, sweeps?
Yeah, we were just speaking
You
of.
know,
Yeah, no one gives a damn about them.
This is Jeremiah 15:5. For who shall have pity upon thee, O Jerusalem?
Yeah, nobody has pity on you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Really, they believe that the reason why you're going through those things is because you deserve it. Or you criminally minded, you know, you got low IQ.
Damn.
So you deserve to go through these things. Why aren't the other nations going through things like this? You know?
Persona non grata.
It's the curses, baby.
Who shall have pity upon thee, O Jerusalem?
Yep.
Or who shall bemoan thee?
Yeah, who shall bemoan you? Which just proves that those people over there in the land are not the Israelites, because they got a whole organization dedicated to having pity on them.
Yeah.
They try to force you to have pity on them by pushing this narrative out there that they're oppressed. You know, 6 million of them died. You constantly hear that number. They teach this shit in the schools, man.
And then they'll say, you know what? Just apologize.
Yeah.
And come with me to go to Auschwitz.
Yeah, you gotta talk to a fucking rabbi.
Yeah, you
man.
gotta go to Auschwitz and hang out over there, man.
And you gotta reread that bullshit Anne Frank biography.
And you gotta donate.
Mm-hmm.
How they
Yeah, and you gotta go.
Yeah,
And you gotta put the hat on and touch the wall too.
Oh yeah.
And you gotta bend over behind the scenes.
That's
You gotta get stepped on by the Ashkenaz.
dang.
It's crazy too, because every time a small hat pops up, they'll sit here and say we're the smallest minority in America, but we're the most oppressed. But oppressed people never have to tell people that they're oppressed. Everybody fucking sees it.
Yeah, oppressed niggas don't own the banks.
He's the only. They're the only niggas that
Diamond
sit here and say I'm oppressed, but nobody else confirms it. But then he still has the ability to go on news and everything, and act like he's the biggest fucking victim in the world.
Oh yeah. They're what's they call that? Victim something? Victim claim that stay through? Oh man. My man stay through. Does it do with the 2 sticks?
Yeah, I'll stay through.
What happened? What happened to the sticks?
He probably touched the fent. He probably touched a little bit of that fent. Ain't been the same.
It says, for who shall have pity upon thee, O Jerusalem? Or who shall bemoan thee? Or who shall go aside to ask how thou doest?
Yeah, none of these nations care about what you're going through.
That's it.
The only one that cares is Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, but you alienated yourself from the Heavenly Father through your behavior. Like what the brother's going into Isaiah the 30th chapter, you rebellious against Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, and you refuse to come under his umbrella, man.
Right.
You want to put on everything else. Then you still expect these other nations to look at you some kind of way and have pity on your struggle.
Well, that's why no one gives a damn about Jake getting heamed up by ice right now. Man. They're like, they deserved it. They shouldn't have gone there. They shouldn't be here if they didn't want that to happen to them. All right, they'll make an excuse, a reasoning for why that happens. Same thing with Jake. Okay, same thing with all the tribes. But for them other guys, them special groups of people, that now you got to make a reason. Oh no, you can't say they can't do that. You got to protect them. But when it comes to Israel, the real Israelites, none of that exists.
Yeah, nobody cares.
Verse 6, thou hast forsaken me.
And that's why nobody cares.
Yeah.
You have forsaken Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, so the Most High put that curse on you.
Somebody get Deuteronomy 28:65 around there.
Thou hast forsaken me, said the Lord. Thou art
Oh, no,
gone
I'm sorry,
backward.
65.
Yeah, thou art going backwards. You
Where it
was going
says,
down that right
among
path.
these
You were
nations shall I
following
find
the law, statutes, and commandments at one point, but then you turned back from that. And you started going after the way of the heathen. And then Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai started jacking your ass up, man. And when that happened in Mother Nature, they backed up. All right, they didn't want nothing to do with you, man.
Yeah, at one time, we were the top nation. But then we came underneath, because the nations were set up to be our servants. But now we came down to that servant position.
Yeah, we degenerated, as a people, and this is why nobody cares about your situation. Look at you in your situation. You just wilding out. You're called a YN, young nigga, and you actually feed into that.
Oh yeah.
And you embody it and you become it.
Well, every Waffle House video.
Right. Oh yeah.
That sets Jake back another 20 years from the civil rights movement, man. Every time a nigga jumps on the counter at the McDonald's, that's what people see. And they ain't gonna feel bad for you.
Yeah, every sexy red.
Yeah, every Latino they see come up here, get caught up by ice. What do they see? They see the nigga with the devil horn tattoos, man. They see the nigga in seat cot, tatted up, man, just savage. That's how they look at you,
Oh yeah.
Because y'all ain't goddamn beast animals.
Yep, thou art gone backward. Therefore will I stretch out my hand against thee.
And that's what's happening. Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai stretched out his hand against you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans.
Yep.
But then the Most High is the one jacking you up, and you going and asking the so-called white man for help. Help us get out of this situation. How he gonna help you get out of the situation you put yourself in, man? And here it is, we telling you why you in the situation that you in, and you ain't listening to what we saying. But you go on to Esau, Edom, even go on these other nations. You got these passport bros. They think, the problem is America. No, the problem is you. All right? It's your conduct down here on the earth. You break the laws, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai on a daily basis, man. So you could go to, Thailand or Philippines. Yeah, you're going to get treated differently because Esau, Edom ain't, the one that's immediately in power over there. But you still got the curse of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai on you, man.
Yep. It says, and destroy thee. I am weary with repenting.
Yeah, and the Most High tired of dealing with you niggas, man. Which is the reason why you're going to have the 2/3 get completely swept. All right? The Most High ain't going to have you walk through the wilderness again. He ain't going to deal with that stock no more. He going to completely destroy them. All right? He going to deliver the elect, and then out of the loins of the elect, that 2/3 going to come back. Okay? So these bodies be completely changed. All right? The Most High ain't dealing with this rebellion no more, man. You either get down with Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, or you get destroyed.
And I will fan them with a fan in the gates of the land. I will bereave them of children.
That's still happening today. Your children dying at a young age, man. Your children getting ripped up by animals.
Or dying in the womb. They don't even see the light of day. The first thing that they experience is a fucking a hanger going up inside of them with the small head.
Or the vacuum.
Or a vacuum. Yeah. Goddamn Dyson. And they getting sucked up. And then fucking Esau, what does he do with them parts?
Chop them up. He put in your food. Put it in your hot Cheetos.
Yep.
Put it
Natural flavor. Hostile.
Yeah. He put it in that natural flavor.
And he drinks it too. He eats it and drinks it.
Oh, yeah.
There was that.
It was a Rabbi Finkelstein.
Yeah. We kill the babies and we throw them up and
We put them in the burgers.
put them in the burger.
We put them in the burgers.
Hey, you eating babies, man.
Chopped up babies.
It says, I will destroy my people since they return not from their ways.
And that's what's happening. Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai has destroyed us as a people. All right, and these other nations looking at you in the state that you in, they ain't having pity on you, man.
Nope.
All right.
Their widows are increased to me above the sand of the seas. I have brought upon them against the mother. I have brought upon them against the mother of the young men a spoiler at noonday. I have caused him to fall upon it suddenly, and terrors are upon the city. She that hath borne 7 languishes, she has given up the ghost.
Yeah, because her children died. All right. Which the Most High is going to run this back.
Right.
All right, because you Israelites, you doing the same thing you was doing back then. The Most High sent the prophets to you, told you to repent. What's the response for you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans? Basically, you giving the Heavenly Father the middle finger.
Oh, just like Boozy.
Yeah.
Oh, yep. Prime example.
Now he want help. Now he want to turn back to the old way and drink cheese and help with that cayenne.
He'll break all that up.
Congestion. Only the Most High can break up that congestion. Nigga. All right, and you flip the Most High off.
Yeah, stick with that pork, man. That pork will do you good.
It's gonna get you right.
You've been eating it this long. You've been told that pork is bad for you. Oh, I ain't doing that.
It says, she has given up the ghost. Her son is gone down while it was yet day. She has been ashamed and confounded. And the residue of them will I deliver to the sword before their enemies, said the Lord.
Yeah, the ones that remain, they got killed in the war. All right, which that's going to happen to you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans as well. When you go up and read, you ain't got to read it. When you go read the top verses of that chapter, it goes into Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai rejecting you niggas, man, for your disobedience. All right? And you're in the same situation right now. And even when this deal goes down, when Jacob's trouble takes place, you're going to be expecting these other nations to help your ass out, man. Ain't nobody going to help you out. The nation's going to sit back and watch you be destroyed. All right? You also going to have foreign troops out here that's going to be putting you niggas to death. All right? You're going to come across a dude speaking Russian. You're going to think he on a different team. He ain't on that same time that the Edomites over here on. He going to put you to death, too.
Yep, because what it talks about, like he said earlier in the chapter, talk about those 4 kinds. Right. The beast is slay, the sword is, the sword is slay and all that, Basically, the Most High got different things prepared for you to get put to death.
Well, it's going to be fire at will or kill indiscriminately.
Yep.
Because they're not going to risk whether or not, if you're a non-combatant, everyone here in America is going to be an enemy. Especially if you're a foreign soldier. It's going to be nothing to them. Okay?
You got more to that?
No, that was it.
I'm sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
There's going to be nothing to them to look at you and just blow your brains out.
Well, that's the image that they see on TV, right?
Yeah.
And on the internet, you wilding out. YNs.
Right.
Keisha, you know, McDonald's when Keisha is jumping through the drive-through window, you know, because her fries were cold.
I heard she didn't get enough. She didn't get the extra sauce.
Yeah, the sauce.
What about that one video in Oakland when they put the baby on the curb and they were squabbling out? Two black women, man. They put the baby in the baby seat. They just put on the curb and they was just squabbling out in the middle of the street, man.
When the one was pregnant, they was fighting.
Oh yeah, one was pregnant. That was pregnant in Oakland.
And they
What's
were
your
prostitutes.
So
Tyrone,
the image
Tyrone.
of these so-called blacks and Native Americans amongst the nations is animals, and Esau makes sure that the bad things that you do are put out in the
Oh,
forefront.
those things get 1 million views, man. And everyone shares it, and then now all of a sudden they have fatigue.
Yeah.
Now I have
Black fatigue.
because you saw a couple of Waffle House clips. Get out of here, man.
Turn off the, get off the social media.
Yeah, get off of social media and take a walk. You'll get fatigue from this lady.
What in the hell is your problem?
But
Now that was it on that.
Jake got
Yeah, get that, Babaka said, and I got one too. You have something?
Yeah. You know what's crazy too is like these foreign troops when they come here, they know the statistics of America. That's why they're not gonna wait to squeeze. Because they know there's more guns here than people. So everybody's
Yep.
And they gonna be chipped up too.
Oh yeah.
You know, they gonna have AI. They gonna be super soldiers.
Oh yeah.
They gonna have chips and they gonna have orders. They gonna have no emotions. They gonna be on drugs. You know, we gonna be in a terrible time, man.
Yeah. It's gonna be way more. Way more time.
Waymo.
Go ahead, brother.
The book of Deuteronomy 28 verse 65, and among these nations shalt thou find no ease.
Well, come on,
See?
man.
Like you said, who shall be moaned? Among these nations shall thou find no ease. That's part of the curse. Here it is, the nations come over to this side of the world, right? And, in a short period of time, they prosper. They have businesses, they have homes, but here, you've been here all your life, and you can't even get a decent paying job.
Well, if you try to get a business, what's gonna happen? Your own people gonna come in and rob you.
Yeah.
Just like you go out in Oakland, they might have a weave shop, selling hair. You know that the Chinese woman, the Elamite woman, they cornered that market.
I got.
So there's a lot of market cap there. You Jake want to get in, you try to get a piece of the pie, sell to their own
Support
community,
your own.
support your own black-owned businesses, and you set up a boutique where all the nice hair and shit, or clothing and shoes to your own people. What happened? Them niggas come in and spy it out, and then that same night they break down your shit and snatch everything.
I believe that happened recently in Oakland, if I'm not mistaken. It was so-called black-owned restaurant.
Yeah, got
high
shot up.
scale.
Yeah,
They got shot up.
Got shot up.
Yep.
And they got mad at the Jake for getting mad at the city, man.
Right.
Getting mad at his own people.
They some nasty.
And you know what they
motherfuckers.
did? The next article that came out through the Ashkenaz news media was they ain't paying rent for the past year.
Wow.
So, of course, why would you do that?
Like the
Just to keep kicking them while they're down, right? That's what the Ashkenaz do, man. Hey, release it. Go check if they paid rent. I know for a fact. That's black owned. Oh, they late on rent. they ain't up on their rent, man. So next thing you know, that's the next article.
Stereotypes.
Nothing to do with, hey man, we gotta support our businesses, we gotta
Shut
fix
up.
the safety, we gotta do all these things. No,
I'm
blame
to
Jake.
kick your
Right?
ass.
Same thing. Esau, Edom.
Blame the blacks.
Blame
Yeah.
Jake again.
That's it.
You got it, man.
Yeah. That's it. Read that again, bro.
God. Book of Deuteronomy 28 verse 5. And among these nations shalt thou find no ease,
Uh-huh.
neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest. But the Lord Yahweh shall give thee there a trembling heart and failing of eyes.
Failing of eyes. Matter of fact, somebody could look that up. Failing of eyes. Failing, in the blue letter.
Feeling of eyes.
You know,
what?
so
You
pretty
really
much,
should
I got
read
some
up
real
on
quick,
it.
hold on to that. This is the book of Psalms 106 and 41. And he gave them into the hand of the heathen, and they that hated them ruled over them. Their enemies also oppressed them, and they were brought into subjection under their hand. And that's why, it says among these nations shall thou find no ease. And part of the parable that the Lord spoke about, you know, with Lazarus and the rich man, it says that the dogs lick the sores.
Yep.
So that's these different nations that take the little bit that Jake has left, you know, from them. You see? So who got that?
I got it.
Right.
The word there is Kala Yawan, Strong's H3631. It says completion, destruction, consumption, annihilation, failing, pining.
Yeah, failing, pining. So it's like failing the virus. So
Shut up.
and anything you put together, you know, them you know, you're not going to be able to prosper. You know, because you know, the curses are following you everywhere you go.
Yep.
You, your family, your children, you know, your ancestors before you. Those curses are generation curses. You know, they continue on. And the only time they're going to come off is when the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai takes the curses off.
Oh, like IUIC, the woman.
Yeah, oh Lord.
That woman
Don't listen to
program.
him. He
You know, they
not,
setting up that woman's program to teach the women, which, you know, it sounds good, but
He
the,
not-
the gist of it, like Bishop Nathaniel's woman said, we can help, you know, kind of alleviate and take away some of these curses. How the hell you gonna do that?
You don't
Yeah.
have the power to do that.
You said you gonna do what your house I can do?
She's gonna alleviate something else.
Right.
That's about it.
Exercise demons.
You ain't gonna be able to do that. Okay, it's going. The curse is gonna pinpoint you.
come here.
They're gonna pinpoint
Come
you.
here.
Then
Come
you gotta-
here.
Miss Lady, you're too close. You gotta give us our
Come
space.
here.
White woman.
You gotta give us our space, Miss Lady.
Start speaking about the women.
Come
You know?
She like you, bro.
Hey, Miss Lady, you gotta get
Ah,
out of
shut
here.
ya, ya.
You gotta Boogie Mac out.
She get boogie,
Hiya,
she boogie Mac
baby.
out.
You got it.
Why are you by go?
Destruction,
We wanna drop kick.
consumption. This is in the lexicon. Destruction, consumption, pining.
Excuse me, you stepping on my stuff
Hey,
here.
hey, you're way too close.
Can you please step back? Thank you.
Not a problem, my friend.
All right.
It says pining of the eyes, i.e., languishing itself.
Yeah, languishing. Hey, the another part of the curse it says, you shall, you know, in everything you put forth your hands. How does that go? It's in
You know nothing.
20 something. It's like 20 something. It says that the Lord's gonna in everything that you put your hands to, the Lord, you know, you're not gonna be able to prosper, pretty much. You know, and that's true. Anything Jake does in this society, they're not gonna prosper. The only way you can prosper is if you sell out. And
You
even
stop
then,
it.
you know, then you're not gonna be able to
You stop it.
prosper.
Listen,
You know, because at the end of the day,
Can I ask
be
you a
quiet,
question?
Satan. Be quiet, Satan.
be quiet, Satan.
Who is this that dares disturb the word of the Lord?
The word of the Lord.
Step, Satan.
Step,
Go
Satan.
ahead. Don't
Yeah,
touch
yeah,
me.
yeah.
Don't touch me, girl.
Shut up.
Don't touch me.
Don't you would talk to me.
Roll her out of here.
Yeah.
Mr. Mister.
Can you please roll up out of here?
No.
We may have to roll her out.
Now, if you roll out, you can probably call the cops. By herself,
Flyer.
she'll roll out by herself. When she tired, when she said she had a headache. You know, it's all that gin. Go ahead.
It's vodka, you motherfucker. What the fuck you talking?
Matka. What the fuck is a matka?
Taka.
But go ahead, bro.
Is that right?
No, that was edited on that.
Yeah, that was it.
All right, so
Brothers got the definition?
yeah. And who got something else?
We just read the definition.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's speak the word of the Lord.
Yeah, but
Yeah, bring it out. Whoever got it. Whoever got
Let's
the
speak the
scripture.
word of the Lord.
I got something. This Lamentations 2 and 15. All
There
that
you go.
pass by clap their hands at thee. They hiss and wag their head
Yep.
at the daughter of Jerusalem, saying, "Is this the city that man called the perfection of beauty, the joy of the whole earth?"
And that's a sentiment all the way across the board. You know, like that movie they cloned Tyrone.
Yep.
You know, that's pretty much like a blueprint or
So what do you know?
or pretty much a
What do
factory.
you know, kid?
You know that they produce.
Hey, son.
You know, this is because this is
Hey,
something that
kid.
goes this generation.
Hey, youngster.
So all throughout the different
Hey,
ghettos and the
youngster,
barrios,
shut
this
up.
is what they
I'm
pretty much,
talking to
you know,
my
set up
son, bro.
Jake as. And he's, you know, that's why when you look at Jake in any hood you go to, they all act the same way. The women act the same, the men act the same. You know, they dress the same. You know,
No,
it's
we
it's
don't.
a generational thing. You know,
No,
and
we
this
don't.
is why Esau was mad at Jamie Foxx when he made that movie. That's why they almost took him out. Please don't touch me.
I'm not
Do not
Jacob.
touch me.
I'm not
All right?
Jacob.
Do not touch me.
I'm not Jacob.
I know you're not Jacob. You're the devil.
That's right.
You're Esau.
I am not.
You know, don't put your hands on me.
I am
all right?
not Jacob.
So
Last
just
warning.
step off. Last warning.
Otherwise, we're gonna
You
roll
put your
out.
hands on me again, it's gonna be some problems. Okay?
We're gonna roll you out.
So go ahead, bro.
It says, verse 16, all thine enemies have opened their mouth against thee. They hiss and gnash the teeth. They say, we have swallowed her up.
Yep.
Certainly this is the day that we look for.
Matter of fact, look up that word, swallowed her up. This is why the scriptures say that Jake would not be recognized among the nations. You know? Because, you know,
Go
this
ahead.
is a direct part of the curses
Go ahead,
on
Keith.
Jake. You know? And what these, no, and when you bring that out, they say, well, no, that doesn't apply to y'all because you
Go
don't fit
ahead,
all the
Keith.
curses. The scriptures
Don't
didn't say
listen to
all
that,
of these
brother.
curses will come upon you in one, you know, captivity. This is something that happened in different captivity. Different things happen in different captivities. If you don't have land, how can your crops
having-
fail or your flock fail or whatever the case may be? You know. You got it. Oh, you got it. Go ahead.
The word swallow up is Strong's H1104 balai, or balai, to swallow down, to swallow up, to engulf,
Yeah.
to eat up, to swallow down, to swallow up, engulf, to be swallowed down, to swallow up, engulf, squandering, to be swallowed up, to be ended.
Yeah, end it. And that's pretty much why it says you shall not be reckoned among the nations. You're not going to be recognized.
Shut up.
You know, there's not going to be
fucker.
anyone out
I'm
there that's going to look at
listening
you
to him,
and take you
bro.
serious. You know, and this is why Esau, his whole thing is about pushing that stereotype of, you know, Jake being in that low condition. That's why they reward, you know, people that act like that. You know, but then they frown upon people that tell you the truth and tell you to get yourself together, get out that spirit. You're better than that. Here it is, you're kings and princes, you know, and princesses, but you're acting like the peasants are acting.
Right.
You know, so you got to get out that spirit. You got to come back to that ruling class mentality and get out of that slave class mentality. You know, because this is what Esau did all throughout slavery and even to this day.
Yep.
Say
It
it.
continues on to this day. But you got it,
I
bro.
got a precept.
Bring it out.
It's the book of Psalms 50 and 19. Thou givest thy mouth to evil, and thy tongue frameth deceit.
Yep.
Thou sittest and speakest against thy brother.
There you go.
Thou slanderest thine own mother's son.
Yeah, and that's the bottom line. That's what Esau does, and that's what they're good at. You know, but they'll do it behind the scenes.
So
They'll
what
let Jake
happens-
do it because
so what
they pretty much
happens?
showed you and taught you
we
how
in-
to
am
be.
I in
This is why they
trouble?
took the man out the house
Am I
because
in
they know
trouble?
without the man in the house, there's not going to be any structure, family structure.
Am I in trouble, bro?
You know, so pretty much the woman bringing the child up, she gonna bring him up based off emotions. You know, and then that's gonna, you know, one generation after the next generation, they're just gonna become
Who
worse
the
and
fuck
worse.
you talking to,
You know,
boy?
so within the last 30 to 50 years, you know, this is what you have from all these different single mothers. You know, they blame the father being deadbeat and all this, but it's you women that raise all of these children.
Exactly.
Oh,
So I told you don't put
you
the
gotta
fuck
go.
out of here, bitch. Fucking sidekick you in the fucking side of your head, bitch. That's a bold fucking demon, man. Don't come back over here. Don't come back over here.
Fucking bucket.
Get the fuck out of
Roll
here.
down the block. Roll down the block.
Get the fuck out of here.
And Satan hating the edification that's coming out. That's all that is.
Roll down the block.
You know.
There, get the fuck out of here, bitch. Go ahead, bro.
That's right. Oh yeah. You have more on the definition.
That was it on
Okay.
the definition.
This is back in Lamentation 2 in 16. All thy enemies have opened their mouth against thee.
Yeah.
They hiss and gnash the teeth. They say, we have swallowed her up. Certainly this is the day that we look
Now
for.
somebody get Lamentations 1 and 21, I believe it is. Go ahead, finish that up.
We have found, we have seen it. The Lord hath done that which he hath devised. He hath fulfilled his word that he had commanded in the days of old. He hath thrown down and hath not pitied And he have caused thine enemy to rejoice over thee. He have set up the horn of thine adversary.
And you see all the nations rejoicing over Jake.
Yep.
You know, all these nations, the Edomites, the Elamites, you know, whenever Jake come around these different nations, they look down on Jake. All of them. It ain't just one or two, all of them. Esau, all the nations. That's why you have the list in Psalms 83rd chapter. You know, all of the nations are complicit. So the main reason we get on Esau the most is because Esau is the main problem right now. They're the head. But all these nations gonna get it just as equal.
That's right.
You know?
Yep.
But you got it. Yeah, bring that out.
1 and 21.
Yes, please.
The book of Lamentations, chapter 1, verse 21. They have heard that I sigh. There is none to comfort me. All my enemies have heard my trouble. They are glad that thou hast done it.
Yeah, so there's no one out there that is fucking crying, you know, or speaking about the plight of Jake. These other nations ain't doing that. They don't give a shit about Jake. No, but they're happy that we're in this low condition. Well, go ahead.
Thou wilt bring the day that thou hast called, and they shall be like unto me.
Right, you will bring the day that you have called, and they shall be like unto me. So it's going to be a trading places type thing. You know, and this is what we're waiting for the Lord to deliver us out of this situation and put these nations back to where they belong, back underneath, you know, our feet. You know, and these heathens, you know, and these so-called, like vocab and them talking about the nations, everybody's going to be equal. No, motherfucker. The nations are going to be right where they belong. You ain't going to change the narrative of the scriptures of the Lord. He said, you know, when you have heathens in your among you, that's where you're going to get your slaves from, your servants from, your handmaids and your men servants. You're going to get it from among them. You know, you're not going to rule like that over, you know, your own brethren. Go ahead.
God, continuing on, it's verse 22. Let all their wickedness come before thee, and do unto them as thou hast done unto me with
Right.
all my transgressions.
That's it.
For my sides are many, and my heart is faint.
That's it. My sides are many, and read that again. That part.
God.
Hey, let's close this up, bro.
God.
Just finish this up and let's get the fuck out of here, cause you know,
God.
I
And do
feel,
unto
you know,
them
them
as
demons
thou
is
hast
coming
done
up.
unto me for all my transgressions.
You know,
For my sides are many, and my heart is faint.
that's it. Yeah. So pretty much, you know, the Lord is gonna give us vindication.
That's right.
Very soon, you know, these nations are gonna go down. And all these demons, the Lord's gonna He's gonna judge every last one of these demons out here. You know, we're coming to a very serious time where all these different nations and peoples out here are gonna get judged.
That's right.
You know, and there ain't gonna be no mercy in that day. Don't be crying for no fucking mercy in that day, because there ain't gonna be no mercy.
That's right.
But that's it, brothers, you know.
Yeah.
So if you want to close it out, yeah.
Yeah. So with that, you know, we're going ahead and close it out. Once again, giving all praises and glory. Unto
How Hashem, Yahushai, Hashem, Confederacies.
Until next time, I want to say shalom.
Shalom to the elect.
To the elect. That's right.
Kept throwing hands at you.